small mistakes. And because of that, he actually ends up even going to hell, to Naraka. So this is a Put Naraka. So to Punnam Naraka Trayati Putra. To deliver the person to the forefathers and his own father, the the son has to perform this Shraddha Kriya. That is why it is said that Putra Pinda Prayojanam, and Bharya is for Putrartha Kriyate Bharya. Now, some of the feminists may, wonder, why only Putra, why not a Putri? No, this is what the Shastra is. The reason is Putra, when there is male population in this world, there is every chance that all the living entities from this world, especially the human beings, they get delivered. Because self-realization is actually a process. It is meant for the men. It is not meant for women. Women also can get liberated from this material world and go back to spiritual world. But women can get liberated simply by following the husband, following the instructions of the husband, following and serving the guru of the husband, and taking care of the children and the family of the husband. And that is her duty. That is why she is known as Grihini. That means, she stays back at home and she takes care of the house, family, husband, husband's guru, all of that. And that is her duty. She is not meant for self-realization. She is not meant to give up everything and go to Himalaya and sit alone. No, she cannot. She can't even go alone in the city. They will be abused by, men, or they will be exploited and manipulated by men. So that is why women is not meant for self-realization. She is only meant for for giving association or for helping the husband in following the religious process. The Chatushta Purushartha, Dharmartha Kama Moksha, to help, to assist husband in gaining success in this Chatushta Purushartha. But apart from that, she herself is not meant for self-realization. So these are not my words, these are the words of the Shastras. That is why the emphasis is there more on Putra, Putra, that is why in fact, Srila Prabhupada mentions that the population of this world is more of women and the population of men is less, which is actually a very dangerous situation. Always the population in the world should be more of men, which was the case in Satya Treta Dwapar. But in the age of Kali Yuga, the population of women is more than men. So how that statistics is calculated, I'm not sure, but Srila Prabhupada made this statement. So like that, when the population of men is more, then we are in a healthy situation. When the population of women is more, then the men are not getting opportunity. Already they are struggling. And when there are more women, then, they will end up, marrying more and more and more. And then that is how, they are bound in this material world. But when the population of men is more, then majority of them should be trained in self-realization and they get liberated, while the remaining men will get married and they continue in grahastha life, and they also, have the opportunity to get liberated, emancipated from this world. But this is the understanding. This is the principle of, why to have, putra. Of course, that has taken a very bad, casteism kind of a situation in India, where they see that, oh, if a female is born, kill her, because infanticide, because, we don't want a girl. And there is nothing religious about it. It is only sinful. The reason is because a male child will grow up and earn money and bring a lot of dowry, whereas a woman is just a burden because we have to give money and get her married off. So she's a burden. So kill the child. So this is, a very perverted angle that, it has taken in India. But in reality, Putra is meant for, and deliverance of the forefathers and meant for self-realization. So that is why, to bring forward to continue the lineage, one needs to have a putra, without which it is not possible. So that is why, Diti is telling, you will become famous. You are a Prajapati, you are a son of Brahma, by your producing of children, the whole world will be populated. So you will become famous. And at the same time, I will also be satisfied because I don't have children. So I will start getting children, and I will also be respected. So that is why she's telling that, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning how in the human form of life is very, very precious. One should not, lose it. and all the jivas who come to the human form of life, they get an opportunity to get out of this world. So please make some, facilitation for the jivas to come, into this human form of life. So this is what is the argument of Diti to Kashyapa. Let's go to the next one, 13th one. पुरापीता नो भगवान् दक्षो दुहित्रवत्सलः कं वृणीत वरं वत्सा इत्यपृच्छदनः पृथग्.
Hare
Translation.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
हाँ.
Yeah, Prabhuji, sloka recitation and translation reading that can be done by the audience.
Okay. That is what I wanted. Because they will also be involved, or else, then we may switch off the camera and, start doing something else, cook some food, or, talk to the maid servant, and so many things can happen. So it's better that they read. Yeah.
And normally they do like this, but
Right.
sorry, we
Even
forgot to.
other forums also they do like that. I make them read the translation and purport. Yeah.
So whoever has raised a hand, Narayani
Yeah,
Mataji.
Divya Mataji, read the translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husband. Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna
Okay.
Mataji. Yeah. Sindhu Mataji can read puppet.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It appears from this verse that free selection of a husband was allowed by the father, but not by free association. The daughters were asked separately to submit their selection of a husband who was famous for his acts and personality. The ultimate selection depended on the choice of the father.
Yeah.
Hare
So thank you, Mataji. Thank you to both the Matajis. So here we see that Daksha had asked his daughters, please choose. And out of the 16 daughters, 13 of them chose Kashyapa. They were given that selection because Kashyapa was of very high caliber, very high character, one of the sons of Brahma, Prajapati. So majority of the daughters chose chose Kashyapa as their husband. So Prabhupada is mentioning here that how selection of the husband was allowed by the father, but not by free association. Not like, like we have love marriages today. So girl, boy come together, they get attracted on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they meet together, and there are sexual predators also in the name of uh, seekers of girls, and there's so much of or pervertism in this material world, that it has taken a different shape altogether. But here, the selection was allowed, but not free association, because the glories of all the different powerful, great personalities was always shared in the kingdom, and they would glorify and they would hear. So that way they had known. So like that, like we hear in case of Krishna also, the glories of Krishna were heard by Rukmini. It was heard by it was heard by Satyabhama, it was heard by, Nagnajiti or Satya, then Madra, then, Jambhavati. So all these great queens, they had heard about, the glories of Lord. Mm. So, Rukmini, there's a very beautiful, prayer in Bhagavatam. She says that यत्पादपङ्कजरज स्नपनं महान्तो वाञ्छन्त्युमापतिरिवात्मतमोपहत्यै यर्यम्बुजाक्षनलभेय भवत्प्रसादान् जह्यानसून् वृतकृशान् शतजन्मभिः स्यात्. So this is the prayer of Kuvanti. Rukmini. Rukmini is saying that Yat Pada Pankaja Raja Snapanam Mahanto. That dust of the lotus feet of you, my Lord, it's so glorious that great souls, they smear that dust on their body. They do abhishek of that dust. You are such a great soul, because Rukmini had been hearing about Krishna, and she was so much attached, and she, simply by hearing, She didn't do anything. She was just hearing about the Lord. Because all the Brahmanas are traveling from one kingdom to another kingdom. They are glorifying Krishna like anything. All his, chivalrous activities, all his, leelas in Gokul, Vrindavan, and in Dwarka. And they were glorifying the Lord, they're speaking about it. And she was hearing, and she became very attracted to Krishna. She couldn't control herself. So she writes a love letter to Krishna. Not like the dirty love letters which, written by materialists in this world, especially in the age of Kali Yuga. Not like that. Very beautiful love letter. She says that, Yat pada pankaja rajash snapanam mahanto. So the dust of your lotus feet, which is smeared by great souls, Vanchanti Umapatirivatma Tamopahatyaya. Umapati is who? Lord Shiva. So even Umapati, even Lord Shiva is hankering, Vanchanti. So Vancha means, hankering for it. So Vanchanti Umapati Rivatma Tamopahati. Even he is actually hankering for that dust because he wants to remove his tamoguna. Actually, Lord Shiva has no tamoguna, but out of humility, he is thinking that, I have tamoguna, I am the controller of tamoguna. So I myself also have tamoguna, but no, he does not have. So he's thinking that, all my tamoguna will be removed. So I want the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So Vanchanti Umapati Rivatma Tamopahatyai. But Rukmini further says that Yari Ambujaksha Na Labhe Prasadat. Oh my Lord, oh Ambujaksha, oh lotus-eyed one, if I also do not get that lotus, the dust of the lotus feet, yar Ambujaksha na labheya prasadat, even if I do not get that prasada, that mercy of the dust of your lotus feet, na labheya, if I do not get, then jahyan ashun vritakrishan shatajanma bhisyat. I will give up my body, I will give up my life out of frustration, not out of anger on you, my Lord, but out of my own frustration, I will give up my body because I will consider myself as the most unfortunate soul in this universe. So, Jahyan Asun Vritakrishan Shatajanma Bisyat. Hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes I will perform meditation and tapasya and penance to attain that dust of your lotus feet. Until then, I will consider myself as unfortunate, but I cannot give up. I cannot give you up. So you are my Lord. You are the Lord of my heart. So, and in the end, finally, after, there's a lot of glorification. There are many shlokas, about 6, 7 shlokas. And after that, she finally tells, if you desire, if you wish that, I need to be, if you think that I deserve, if I deserve you, then, you please, pick me on the day of my wedding with Shishupal. And she gives the details, how to pick her up, all of that. So here, the Kshatriyas, they were allowed to, do the free selection of the husband. Very beautiful, like how, even the Swayamvaras are conducted where, they choose, they themselves, like Sita chose, Lord Ramachandra. And, so many other, instances are there in the Shastra. But free mixing was never allowed. Before marriage, no free mixing was allowed. No meeting, no girl boy will meet each other. No talk with each other. No don't no having of what is that, live-in relationship and all that nonsense, all that crap. All these are creations of Maya in this age of Kali Yuga. Live-in relationship, homosexual relationship, so much. They are like they're so degraded, they don't know what to do, and they're coming up with newer and newer varieties. So this was never allowed in the Vedic culture. And in fact, in one of the purports, I think I read that although the girls were allowed to select their husbands, uh, still they were so shy to, reveal it to the father. They would tell their mothers or grandmothers, and the grandmothers will communicate it to the father. This is how the culture was. They were not directly telling the father, I like that king or this king. They would never do that. So that way, this culture was, it was always there. And a woman, when she reaches the praudha stage is nothing but puberty. So, around 13 or whatever. So, naturally, the consciousness of the women changes. The consciousness of the women is that I need to take shelter of somebody. I need to take protection of somebody. I need to depend on somebody. So that is their consciousness. So the minute they see, they get attracted to any man or any male or any person they see, who's of their own age or a little elderly, they take shelter of that person. And that is the reason why, in the adolescent ages, we see, young girls getting attracted to young men, and when they give their life to them, they will go against even their parents. This is what happens in the modern world. The reason is there is nothing wrong. The reason is because that is the psychophysical nature of a girl after she attains puberty. They naturally they get attracted. They want to take shelter of a man. So this is how it is. That is the reason why the marriages were conducted. Child marriages were conducted not for sexual indulgence. It is completely gotten wrong by all these Western thinkers. The reason why child marriages were conducted in Vedic culture is because when the girl is very young, in the stages of puberty or even before puberty, she is given her heart to a person, and now for the rest of her life she will think of only that person and nobody else. So she becomes one of the most chaste lady in her life. So the chaste lady becomes very, very powerful, and she produces very powerful children. So the chastity of women has to be preserved, and it has to be secured, and that will actually bring about very good population in this world. And that is the reason why the marriages were conducted early, and later on they were sent over to their husbands' places when they had attained puberty and more. So, and that was the Vedic process, and that is how it is. Naturally, the woman has that inclination to take shelter and protection of a man, in that age. Okay, we'll go to the 14th one. सविदित्वात्मजानां भावं संतान भावना त्रयोदशादा त्रयोदशाददत त्रयोदशद त्रयोदशाददात् तासां यास्ते शीलम् अनुव्रताः. Okay, somebody can read the translation and purport.
Yeah, Sudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Our well-wishing father Daksha, after knowing our intentions, handed over 13 of his daughters unto you. And since then, we have all been faithful. Hare Krishna.
Okay, purport.
Vishwanu Mataji, purport.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Mataji, okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Vishwanu
The
Mataji.
daughters. Yes, generally the daughters were too shy to express their opinions before their father, but the father would accept the daughter's intention through someone else, such as grandmother, to whom the grandchildren had free access. King Daksha collected the opinions of his daughter and thus handed over 13 to Kashyap. Every one of Diti's sister was a mother of children. Therefore, since she was equally faithful to the same husband, why should she remain without children?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So the same thing. Thank you, Mataji. So the same thing I was saying, how the daughters were very shy and they would express their intentions through grandmothers or mothers to their father, and that is how they would get married. So naturally, so this sexual inclination is always there in the jivas. So it is natural. It is a natural process. And this is created by Brahma and Maya. So one cannot. But if it is unrighteous, then it becomes a problem. So that is why it has to be regulated through this process of Vivaha Yagya. So without Vivaha, it becomes completely demoniac, and one only goes to hell and nowhere else. Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha kamaha krodaha tata lobhas tasmat etat trayam tyajet. So kama, krodha, lobha, if it is not in the proper sense, then it becomes completely demoniac and a person goes to hell. So that is why Lord Krishna warns about it in the Bhagavad Gita also. So elsewhere also it is said, in this pastime of Yayati, Sharmishtha and Devyani in the Bhagavatam, it is said, Najatu kama kamanam upabhogena shamyati havisha Krishna vartmeva bhuya eva bhivartate. So Najatu kama kamanam upabhogena shamyati. So this karma, the nature of this karma, the nature of sexual inclination is such that na jatu kama kamanam upabhogena shamyati. By satisfying the desire, one cannot reduce the desire. By satisfying the desire, one only intensifies the desire. We should understand this. Grihastha life does not become a license for us to go on engaging, although it may be religious also. We cannot go on engaging because that will only create bondage. Havisha Krishna Vartmeva Bhuya Eva Bhivardate. Just like you pour ghee in the fire, it cannot douse the fire. It can only increase the burning fire more and more. So, in the same way, when we satisfy the desires, especially the sexual desire, it only increases more and more. It just does not reduce. So, that is why the Vedic culture has this process of Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So after Grihastha, who has that license, after that, he has to ultimately take to Vanaprastha or Sannyas. If he is not well trained, then it can become a disaster. Or, if it is, if there is no Vanaprastha, then we have to be well trained in devotional service that we are able to give it up. If we are not able to give it up, it is a sure short thing that we have to come back, not necessarily as a human being, but it can be in any other form also, because according to our inclinations and according to our desires, the Lord may arrange for us another species in the 84 lakh species. So that is why we have to be very careful. So it is also like Srila Prabhupada always quotes this most famous verse of what's his name? Yamunacharya. Yeah, Yamunacharya in Stotra Ratna. He says that Yadavadi Mama Cheta Krishna Padaravinda Nava Nava Rasadhamni Udyatam Rantumasit Tadavada Batanari Sangame Smaryamane Bhavati Mukha Vikara Shushtu Nishtivanam Cha. It means Yadavadi Mama Cheta Krishna Padaravinda. So long since when I have been engaging my mind in the lotus feet of the Lord, hearing his pastimes, glories, etc., etc. Then Nava Nava Rasa Dhamni Udyatam Rantumasit. It is giving me newer and newer and newer taste. I'm relishing it more and more. I'm getting attracted and attached more and more. Huh? Tada vada bata nari sangame smaryamane. And if ever my thought comes that, oh, maybe I'm missing the association of women, maybe I'm missing the association of my wife, or something like that, Nari Sangame Smaryamane, then Bhavati Mukha Vikara Shushtu Nishtivanam Cham. Then Yamunacharya is saying that I spit at that thought. I spit at that dirty thought of, trying to enjoy this material world in the form of, Maya. So I do not want to, because I am more attracted, more attached, more I am relishing more and more, the Lord's glories, the Lord's Katha, Lord's Harinam. So that way, one becomes inclined towards, Krishna by engaging more and more our mind in the service of the Lord. So Yamunacharya, makes this statement. But when we are not attracted to the Lord, the mind needs something. So obviously, automatically, the mind will be attracted to something of this world, whether it could be some food, some gulab jamun, or some movie, or some women, or some wine, or something like that, or wealth. So we will get attracted to that. That is why, we have to engage our mind more and more and more in the service of the Lord, in devotional service of the Lord. Then, we'll automatically get rid of all these propensities. In spite of practicing a devotional service, also sometimes devotees are struggling. They're struggling to, follow the regulative principles and things like that. So we have to remind ourselves, like Aila Geet, there's a very beautiful prayer in Bhagavatam where he's praying. That is Pururava. Pururava, after he misses the association of his wife Urvashi, Urvashi goes back to the heavenly planets, and Pururava is left behind. He's crying, lamenting, he's missing her association, he's missing, so much. He's tormented in his heart. It's like burning, very burning. When lust overpowers a person, no matter what devotional service we have done, no matter how many shastras we have read, it simply overpowers, just like an elephant controls a banana tree. It is mentioned in one of the purports I read that if an elephant is coming and pushing a banana tree, you think the banana tree can tolerate it? No, not possible. Though it'll just break. In the same way, when the overpowering, insurmountable lust, overpowers a person's consciousness, then finished. No matter what, no matter, how big a devotee you are, how great a soul you are, how powerful a speaker you are, no matter what you have done in your life, you may have been the greatest demigod, you may have been anything great, but no, you're finished. Agni Dev, Agni is a great demigod, yeah. Agni was attracted. Agni's wife is Swaha, but Agni was attracted to Shuka. Shuka was the wife of the Saptarishis, and he wanted to associate with her. And it's so embarrassing. How can you do that when you're already having a wife? It will be such a big taboo. It is so degrading for a great demigod to associate with another's wife when you already have a wife. So to control her husband, to completely not bring infamy for her husband, Swaha changed her form in the form of Shuka. And Agni was thinking, his wife was actually the wife of Saptarishis, and he was, sexually, engaged with yeah, his wife, thinking that, he's engaging with Shuki. And same thing, Brihaspati is a great demigod, priest of all the demigods. And he was attracted to his brother's wife, Mamata. And although she was pregnant, he forcibly, went and impregnated her. And because of that association, another child called as Dirghatamas, sorry, Dirghatamas was born. So this is there in the scriptures, it is there in the Mahabharata. And then there is a story of story of Soma. Soma is the moon god. Soma was attracted to the wife of wife of Brihaspati, who's Tara. And Soma has illicit relationship with Brihaspati's wife Tara, and because of that association, they beget another child called as Buddha. So Buddha's son is actually Pururava. So that way, these illicit attraction is galore in the shastras. It is given, it is there everywhere. Vishwamitra's story, you all know, how he was attracted, although he was alone, staying, performing tapasya for thousands of years, simply by the tinkling of the ankle bell, you know the tapasya was completely destroyed. Not even the form, not even the eyebrows, not the nose, not the ears, not the lips, not the body of the woman. Simply by the sound of the ankle bell, he was finished. Saubari Muni was sitting 10,000 feet down in the Yamuna waters. Actually, it was in part of the ocean, in part of the sea. So he was sitting deep in the sea, and he was meditating, and because he had committed an offense in the past, simply by looking at a fish, he became sexually agitated. Nobody can, we may be thinking, how is that possible? Simply by looking at a fish, one can become agitated. Yes, it is possible. When we have offended, when our heart is contaminated, then what to speak of fish? Even a mosquito also can agitate our sexual desires. So he was agitated, he came out, and in the Surya Vamsha, there was a king, Mandhata. He went and married 50 daughters, not one, 50 daughters he married. So, like that, there are so many examples. Who are we? Who are we, mortal beings, Martya? We are in the Martya Loka. We are not even demigods. Demigods are having such a great struggle. So never underestimate the insurmountable power of lust. Lust can simply destroy a person. It is said in the Shastra, in the Ela Geet, Pururava is singing after he misses the association of his wife, when he becomes frustrated. After a lot of frustration for several years, he becomes very sober. When he becomes sober, he takes the shelter of the Supreme Lord. Then he makes this statement, very beautiful statement. You all should make a note of it. So he says, Kim vidyaya, kim tapasa, kim tyagena, shrutena va, kim viviktena maunena, stribhiryasya manohritam. So, kim vidyaya, what is the use of reading all the shastras? Kim tapasa, what is the use of, waking up early and performing all tapasyas and chanting and this and that? Kim vidyaya, kim tapasa, kim tyagena. What is the use of sacrificing all your wealth, the family, house, and all that? Kim shrutenava. What is the use of hearing katha, Krishna katha, for several hours in a day? Kim vidyaya, kim tapasa, kim tyagena, shrutenava, kim viviktena maunena. You may be in a very remote place in the association of devotees or whatever. Kim viviktena maunena. You are performing mauna vrata. You don't want to talk to any materialist. But stribhiryasya manohritam. But if your mind is already occupied with stri, you're always attached to some lady or some stri or your own wife in the previous ashram or whatever it may be, and all of this is of no use. Kim vidyaya, what is the use? Kim tapasa, kim tyagena, kim shrutena, stri virasya manohritam. So it is of no use. So like that, Yayati also says that, like Najatu kama kamanam upabhogyena shamyati. It is like pouring ghee on fire. It is of no use. That is why the Vedic culture says stop, stop, stop by Vanaprastha. Panchas chovardvam vanam vraje. They are saying go to forest. Okay, no forest. At least go away. Keep traveling to the holy places, come back. Travel to the holy places, come back. 2 months holy place, come back. Stay in for 2 months. Again go, again come back. That will make us become detached to family life, to the house, to the wife, to the children, all of that. So that is the process in the age of Kali Yuga. We cannot just simply go away to the forest. Okay, so we'll go to the last one. I think last one has to be done. We'll quickly finish it. Running out of time. 15th one. अथ कुरु कल्याणं कामं कमललोचन आर्तोपसर्पणं भूमन् अमोघं हि महीयसी. Someone can read translation and purport.
Shanti Mataji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O lotus-eyed one, kindly bless me by fulfilling my desire. When someone is distressed, approaches a great person, his pleas should never go in vain. Thank you.
Prashanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Diti knew well that her request might be rejected because of the untimely situation, but she pleaded that when there is an emergency or a distressful condition, there is no consideration of time or situation. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this becomes very clear that although her desire was legitimate, but the time was wrong. It was during the Sandhya Kal. Sandhya Kal is what? There are three Sandhyas. One is the dawn, the other is dusk, and the other one is the afternoon. So 6, 12, 6. So these are Sandhya Kal. Sandhya Kal is meant for doing Sandhya Vandanam. You are supposed to perform Sandhya Vandanam. You are supposed to chant Gayatri. And Kashyapa was busy in, meditating on Gayatri. So he was chanting his Gayatri. And it is also meant for performing, religious activities. And people can, read Shastras. And what is Varjita? In the Sandhya Kal, what is Varjita is sleeping and eating. It is not allowed. During Sandhya, one should not eat nor sleep. Of course, prasadam is transcendental. It can be taken, but still out of respect for the Vedas, this prasadam can be taken a little early, maybe at around 5 o'clock as it is practiced in the temples, or at around 7, 8 o'clock, not at around 6, 6:30. No, that is not the time for prasadam. And also sleeping. You don't sleep at that time. Because if you sleep at that time, then we are haunted by hobgoblins. There are so many bhutas, pretas. Not haunted in the sense, we become, we bring inauspiciousness at that time. So we don't sleep at Sandhya. We sleep a little late. In Vedic culture, you sleep at 7:30 after the Sandhya. But now, because thanks to the electricity, the uh, fasad ka jad, they say, right? The root of all destruction is electricity. Because of electricity, you have internet, you have mobile, you have a laptop, you have TV, you have cable, you have what is that? OTT, you have fridge, you have washing machine, you have everything. And we will also say that no, 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 all this is being used to save time so that I can engage in Krishna consciousness. But no, we don't use it for Krishna consciousness. We'll use all of this, but whatever time is saved, we will destroy it. We'll never use it in Krishna service. But when it is not there, then what happens? We'll automatically sleep by 7, 7:30, and automatically a person wakes up by 3, 3:30, and he feels very fresh, very energetic, because the sleep between 8 o'clock to night 12 is very powerful. And of course, even if you want to sleep, nobody will allow you to sleep, because there are banging of vessels in other houses, or there may be vehicle traffic and so many things. You cannot sleep in the city. And even though you may want to sleep, you cannot. But anyway, so the point is that when we sleep early, we wake up early, and we become fresh, and we can concentrate very nicely. We can give our life to Krishna with bare minimum necessities of life. uh, but yeah, it continues to be a dream, but the dream can be realized when somebody is very sincere. He can go away to a community of devotees or living in the farm, and so many things can be done. But the point is that that one has to make his life very simple, and then it will be very easy for one to practice Krishna consciousness. So the time, the Sandhya Kal, was a very wrong time, because it attracts demons. So what to speak of engaging sexually? That attracted great powerful demons like Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, who took the shelter of the womb of Diti, and that brought about the ruination of this entire universe, where they created havoc, and it had to take two incarnations of the Lord, Varaha and Nrsimhadev, to kill these two demons. So that is why it is varjita, and they Sandhya Kal, to eat or sleep or engage sexually. That is meant for religious practices and not for anything else. So the time was wrong. So we have to be aware of that. And also, not only that time, but there are other times also given in the Shastra. The other times of not engaging sexually is Ekadasi, then there is Dwadashi, there is Purnima, and then there is Amavasya, full moon, new moon, Dwadashi, Ekadashi, and the appearance days of the Supreme Lord, the appearance days of the Acharyas, and what do you call the sometimes they say Ashtami also. If you see here, so many days in the calendar, it is Varjita. If somebody sees this, he'll become frustrated. He'll say, so many days I have to remember and maintain. Oh my God, better to give up altogether. That is the only solution. This is how you should think. So that is why, just to frustrate people, all these things are there in the Shastra. Even this Vivaha Yagya, it is said in the Bhagavatam that what is that? व्यवायामिष नित्या हि जन्तोर्नहि तत्र लोके व्यवायामिष मध्य सेवा नित्या हि जन्तोर्नहि तत्र चोदन विवा लोके व्यवायामिष मध्य सेवा नित्या हि जन्तोर्नहि तत्र चोदन व्यवस्थितेषु विवाह यज्ञ निवृत्तिरा व्यवस्थितेषु विवाह यज्ञ Suragraherasu nivrittirishtha. It is mentioned that loke, in this world, people, what are they inclined to? Vyavaya amisha madhya seva. That is sexual attraction. Amisha is meat. Madhya is liquor. This they are naturally attracted. So, nitya hi jantor nahi tatra chodana. They are naturally attracted. Nitya hi jantor. Then what to do? How to regulate it? How to control the people? Vyavasthitis, that is, they make vyavastha. What is it? Vyavasthitis teshu vivaha yagya. Vivaha is made. Then suragrahe rashu nivrittarishta. And for the sake of liquor, there is performance of Sautramani Yagya, where the Kshatriyas have to perform a Yagya, and then they have to give dana, and then they can engage in this liquor. Not the so-called hard liquor of this age of Kali Yuga, not like that. It would be much better natural liquor, something like that. So there is, some arrangement done, because anyway, the jiva is very stubborn. It wants to engage. So they have made facilitation, but they have not encouraged it. Shastra never encourages to engage in this. It is making arrangement for the stubborn, rebellious jivas who want to engage in it. Or else it is not needed. None of these are needed. It is said that न मांस भक्षणे दोषे न मध्ये न च मैथुने प्रवृत्तिरेषु भूतानां निवृत्तिस्तु महाफलम. न मांस भक्षणे दोषे, there is nothing wrong in eating meat. न मध्ये, there is nothing wrong in taking liquor. न च मैथुने, there is nothing wrong in sexual indulgence. They are pravrittireshu bhutana. This is pravritti marga. You enjoy, rot in this world. When you suffer for several millions of lifetimes, then you'll come to your senses. It is pravritti marga. Then what to do? I don't want to rot like this. Nivrittiresha mahaphalam. But if you give it up, if you give up all these three things, then mahaphalam. One gets emancipation from this material world. We don't have to come back here. So that way, the first line is very, like in a very sarcasm it is used. Namamsa bhakshane dosh. Nothing wrong in eating meat. Namadhye nacha maithune. Nothing wrong in illicit sex or nothing wrong in, drinking liquor. But you have to rot. If you don't want to rot, then, nivrittaresha mahafalam. This is how, indirectly in a sarcasm way, in a sarcastic way, the Shastras are discouraging us not to engage in any of this. So this is what we learn. So very wonderful chapter here. So this brings us to the end. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions we can take? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. First of all, many thanks for accepting our invitation, Prabhu, from your busy schedule. And we were totally immersed in today's session. It was so good, so informative, including the information of Prajapatis, their daughters, whom they married. And then the best thing is that what is the duty of a grihini? And then how powerful the urge of sex is and how we can save ourselves from this urge. So thank you so much, Prabhu. We would like to hear once again, if you can come every month, we will be obliged. So thank you so much, Prabhu. So shall we ask to the devotees if they have any question they can ask? Is it okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Very wonderful class. Prabhuji, this last sloka which you said, can you please give me the reference of the sloka?
Which one? The Namamsa Bhakshane Doshe? Is that the one?
Yes, the last one. No.
It should be there in Mahabharata or it should be there in the Manu Samhita, Mataji. Manu Samhita, I think. Namamsa Bhakshane Doshe Namadhye Nacha Maithune.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other question? If no questions, then we will end the class here. So we'll do Vaishnava Pranam Mantra, Prabhu, and then we'll end the class.
Yeah.
By your permission.
Sure.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anandakoti Vaishnavandi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Shall I end the session, Prabhu?
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to all.